Welcome to the McCombs Wellness Collective podcast, where we aim to improve overall health and wellness of the UT McCombs MBA community through promoting healthy habits and sharing personal wellness stories. Many stressors can emerge during an MBA, and we hope that this podcast will help you prioritize your health during your time at McCombs and onward through the rest of your life. All right, we're back on the McCombs, or the Wellness Collective at McCombs podcast. I'm here with first-year MBA candidate Nanci Espinoza. How are you doing this morning, Nanci?
Doing very good. Thank you for asking. Thank you for having me on the podcast.
Yeah, well, I want to share your story and hear a little bit about health and wellness and how it's impacted your life. So I wanted to start out just your backstory. Where are you from? What did you do before McCombs? And then ultimately, why McCombs?
Yeah. So I'm from Houston, Texas. My parents were immigrants from Mexico. They moved here when they were pretty young. But I was raised in Houston, and I loved living there. But after a few years in graduating high school, I realized my parents weren't really going to be able to help me pay my way through college. So decided to join the Marine Corps. Did that for 4 years. Served some time in Okinawa, Japan, and then also in Camp Pendleton, California. So very much near San Diego. And then after a few years, I got out because I realized I wanted to continue to pursue my education, and went to college back in Houston, and it was great. I studied and got a degree in finance, and then went into financial consulting. So I did economic consulting right before coming to McCombs. And really the reason why I wanted to pursue an MBA was because I needed a change from what I was doing before. And a change because I really enjoyed the things that I was doing. I just didn't feel like long-term that career path was for me. And I felt that the MBA would be the best way to kind of figure out what that could be, what that ideal career path could be for me. And also like have a great time doing it, because everyone knows that the MBA is just a great place to meet new people and form connections that maybe you weren't able to make outside in the normal day-to-day life. So, yeah.
No, definitely. It's a good community here at McCombs. And one thing, you're talking about transitioning from your prior role to something new, and you've kind of done that in a few moments throughout your life. So going out of high school, you had a big decision to decide to go in the Marine Corps. Mm-hmm. And then you're in the Marine Corps and you're like, okay, I don't want to do this the rest of my life. I'm going to shift, go back to school, figure out what's next. And now you're doing it again. Has this time in the NBA been different than those other two decisions, or how does that compare?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that says a lot about who I am, because it seems to me maybe every 4 years I'm kind of shifting into something different. And I think that says a lot about how I like to keep momentum and keep my career going. So yeah, I think the shifts in my life have always been super intentional. So first was the Marine Corps, because I wanted to pursue a degree. Second was I realized that I couldn't do that full time in the Marine Corps, so I got out and I wanted to pursue that. And then after getting my degree, I really enjoyed the work that I was doing, but I felt like I needed something different. So yeah, I think the MBA shift has definitely been in line with what I've, I guess, historically done with my career. So yeah.
But I think that speaks on kind of wellness and a healthy lifestyle of always evaluating what's important to you, what are your priorities, mm-hmm. and how you're going to attack that. So getting into wellness, what are your thoughts on health and wellness, and how does it impact your life?
Yeah, so I think the way health and wellness kind of manifested in my life was through the Marine Corps. I think that prior to that, I wasn't really aware, just maybe didn't have the awareness through like the education system that I was brought up in. But through the Marine Corps, I realized that health and wellness and fitness were very important to me. And it was also a place where I kind of learned to build community through like health and wellness. So it has really developed over time, first through the Marine Corps, and then kind of developed along the way. So I really started off with the traditional like physical fitness tests in the Marine Corps, and then it happened to be, I transitioned into like CrossFit when I was in California. That was amazing. I really enjoyed doing that. But then when I got out of the Marine Corps, I realized that CrossFit gyms were very expensive. So I couldn't really afford it on a college student salary. So kind of transitioned to more traditional weightlifting after I got out. So that's what I've kind of been doing ever since then. And then I've also tried to incorporate a little bit of yoga throughout like the years. I also started doing that like during my time in California, because one of the sergeants that I worked with, his wife was a yoga instructor, and she always came to give us classes. And it was a really good experience for me, because I learned all the benefits of yoga, and how like it just helps the body soothe. And it was great for stretching as well, because I was always sore from CrossFit and the gym.
No, definitely. And I'm going to have to pick your brain now, because it seemed like you don't silo yourself. Like a lot of people, they have their bodybuilding routine and they just stick to it. Or just yoga, but you've tried pretty much everything. So I want to start with the Marine Corps. Mm-hmm. You're talking about like the physical fitness test. What does that consist of? And then just during like your weekly schedule, what is the workout regimen like?
Yeah, so in the Marine Corps, the physical fitness test at the time when I was in consisted of a 3-mile run. You also had to do, for the women initially, it started as like a hang where you did like a dead hang, hold yourself up for as many seconds as possible. And then that transitioned into pull-ups. So I eventually learned how to do pull-ups. That was really hard. And then the last part was doing like abdominal crunches. So that was, I think the crunches and the run were like the least hardest part for me. It was learning to do pull-ups that eventually, I eventually had to learn, but I did that through CrossFit. I didn't know I could learn how to do pull-ups through CrossFit, but I don't know if you are familiar, but the way CrossFitters do pull-ups, because they have to do so many repetitions, they do kind of like a kipping pull-up.
Yeah.
And that's how I learned to pull myself up and create the momentum to be able to just do a very strict pull-up.
Because you're kind of swinging your legs and you get a rhythm going.
Yeah, and it's very much like a repetitive movement that you're doing, especially just like a traditional dead hang pull-up. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was a big part. So I started to do CrossFit. And that's what helped me the most, probably, when I was doing the physical fitness tests in the Marine Corps. So I would do I forgot what they're called, but the traditional workouts that the CrossFitters do. They have names for them now.
Workout of the day or watts.
Yeah, they have the watts. So that was really fun. I did them with the group of people that I worked with. We always worked out every morning. We probably did one long run a week. And it was just amazing to build camaraderie amongst the team in the Marine Corps. That's a huge thing there, right?
So you were doing daily PT or daily training?
Every day.
Nice.
So actually there's a point in during my time in the Marine Corps, I was working out at twice a day. Because I had so much time. I knew I was getting out of the Marine Corps, so I just wanted to dedicate my time to something that I loved. So I just worked out twice a day.
That's awesome.
So that was amazing. Yeah.
So with CrossFit, how do you like the community aspect versus working out alone? Yeah,
I really enjoyed it in CrossFit because it motivates you to keep going. I think part of the fun is the competitive aspect of it. And growing up, I never really participated in group sports, but I always enjoyed watching them and just seeing people play. And then when I joined the Marine Corps, I realized that I enjoyed the competitive nature of everything. And just working out in groups helped me motivate myself and to keep going. to reach those goals that I kind of set for myself.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's so big, and that's one of the reasons we're pushing the Wellness Collective is if you have these people that are holding you accountable, pushing you to be better, pushing you to take care of yourself, it helps a lot. So getting that group or community, whatever you want to call it, is big. With that, what do you think about? Are you familiar with the Murph, Lieutenant Michael Murphy workout with CrossFit?
I've done the Murph. The Murph was hard, but honestly, it's been a long time since I've done CrossFit, and part of it was because after I got out of the Marine Corps, like my knees were really bad. So I stopped running. I stopped running as much because when I run on like hard concrete, it like hurts my knees. So I started just doing more traditional weightlifting and tried to run on like gravel instead because it's less harsh on your knees.
Yeah.
So I would love to do another Murph. Are you guys thinking about doing one with the Wellness Collective?
Just now on the spot, so nothing's official, but I think we definitely should do one as a group. It's if anyone's listening not familiar, it's the 100 pull-ups.
Yeah.
Or first you start with a mile run, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats.
I can't remember what it is exactly, but I've done it before, and yeah.
And then you end with a mile. So it's kind of a beast.
It is sounds very hard right now that I'm thinking about it. But we would love to collaborate with you with TVIB if you guys want to do that.
Oh, let's do it. Yeah, we got to make that happen. And then you're talking about injuries too, like getting injured and then having to adjust. Is that one reason why you got into yoga, and how has that impacted your overall health?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I got into yoga. So I actually don't know if hot yoga actually like helps you burn any calories, but I felt like it kind of gave me that like yoga is hard if you make it hard. But yeah, part of it was like the yoga. I wanted to do something that was still very active and like less harsh on my body. And then also like weightlifting, I try to just be more conscious of like the types of lifts that I'm doing to make sure that I'm not hurting myself, because I know lots of people that have gone to the gym that just lift weights and that have injured themselves, and I don't want that to happen to me.
Yeah, and just focusing on form. And I like YouTube. Do you have any other?
Yeah, so YouTube was a big one for me, and I don't know if this is creepy, but I used to like watching people at the gym, like to see how they do their form, and just the people that looked like they knew what they were doing. And then YouTube was also a great resource for me. My fiance Adam, I think he's been amazing at this because we go to the gym together sometimes, and he's been lifting pretty much since he was in college, and he's taught me a lot of things when it comes to weightlifting that I didn't even know I needed to know.
No, it's true. And it can be intimidating for people. So I think it's good to have a good workout culture, not shaming people. Everyone's there to learn, to get better, and you're not going to be perfect right away. So it takes practice like anything else.
I agree.
Okay, so we're talking about physical fitness, and now I think the other two big things we like to cover is like your mental health and nutrition. I don't know which one you want to attack first.
Let's go with nutrition, because I guess I actively try to eat healthy just in general ever since I joined the Marine Corps. I think in the Marine Corps, like, it was very easy because you have the chow hall available to you, and they have a nice salad bar that you could just like go add chicken and then like just make yourself a delicious salad that was very nutrient. But then now, like once I like came out of the Marine Corps, moved back to Houston. Not sure if you've ever been to Houston, but Houston has just amazing food from all different types of cuisines. But just in general, like, I've always tried to maintain a healthy lifestyle. There were times in my life where I intentionally meal prepped because I felt like that was the easiest way to get the nutrients I needed and just stay healthy. Because if I didn't, I would end up just eating something fast that was probably not as healthy for me. And then outside of, I think, healthy eating habits and like meal prepping for me, I always try to like eat something that's delicious for me, maybe like once a weekend, because I feel like you shouldn't like hold yourself back from eating things that you want to. If you're just consistently like eating healthy.
No, definitely. Like the 80% of your week, that's what really matters. The last 20, I think it's negligible. But
yeah.
What would you say your like typical breakfast, lunch, and dinner would be? What would be an example?
Yeah. So for breakfast, I typically don't eat breakfast because I'm always just like running out the door in the morning, and it just never happens for me. But for lunch, I always like to eat a healthy lunch. Probably all last year, Adam and I used to meal prep just chicken and vegetables, and we did that basically Monday through Friday for lunch. And that was just amazing because we would bake a ton of chicken in the oven, cut it up, and then just like put it in like little Ziploc bags, and you could freeze it and then just unfreeze whenever you needed to cook it. So that was amazing for meal prep. And then the vegetables we just had to cook on a weekly basis. But now this year, I'm starting to incorporate those salad kits that they have at HEB, which I love. They're just so easy. So we still make the chicken, we freeze it, and then we just unfreeze a little bag when we need it every week for the salad. So that's amazing. For dinner, I think we typically like to cook something that's like a warm meal. And that could be anything from like grilled chicken. Adam's dad loves to send us like sausage, which I know doesn't sound that healthy, but like
he's from Poland, right? He's
from Poland, yeah. And I think he was a butcher in Poland too. But he makes it himself, so he like makes it very lean, and I think it's a good alternative to like beef. We don't really eat beef that much, so we always try to have like a nice like portion of like protein and vegetables and like some type of grain.
Have you found being in the MBA right now, it being more difficult or less difficult for just your typical diet?
Yeah, I think that having a partner to support me was really important during the first fall semester because we were so busy. We were just busy all the time, and if I didn't have Adam, I probably wouldn't have been able to keep my routine going in terms of meal prep. But yeah, I think it can be difficult when I don't have Adam like telling me, hey, we need to cook some lunches or meal prep. Like, we're probably not going to get that done. So maybe it's Adam driving the meal preps right now, but that's because I feel kind of busy.
No, it's so true. And the schedule is never really consistent necessarily. Yeah. It's all over the place. So you really got to like plan it out and say, hey, I'm going to set aside this time and I'm going to get my food ready, or else it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I feel like.
And I think having the Moon Tower Cafe downstairs is really helpful because they also have a salad bar. And I don't know if you've had their salads, but they're actually not bad.
Yeah, I've seen Robert gets them a lot. And
yeah.
They look strong.
And I when I haven't been able to like make lunches, I usually walk over to the Target down the street, and they also have like little prepped salads, which I thought was great.
Yeah, you probably can get a lot healthier stuff at Target than any of the fast food places on Guad, worst case.
Yeah, honestly, try to avoid them at all costs because I know they're not healthy for me.
And you'll save money. It's expensive.
That's true. Very true.
All right, so the final aspect of the wellness part is mental health. So I particularly, I know the military is really kind of infamous for mental health, and they're trying to get it better, make it better. I don't know if you've seen anything and that you thought could be done better and stuff that have helped yourself through like a mental health type journey.
Yeah, let me think about that one. So for the Marine Corps, I know they're very well known for not having like the best practices in terms of mental health, but the way that we used to support each other in the Marine Corps was through community. I think that like when you're a young person straight out of high school and they like ship you off to Japan, like it can be hard because you don't know anyone and you're with a group of people that you have no relationship with. So the people that you work with are pretty much your family. So at that time, I learned to learned to be a part of a community that supported each other, because we only had each other there. We didn't have our families, and even though we were able to communicate with them, it wasn't the same as like having them with you. So the way that we supported each other was just making sure that our community members knew we were there for each other, and if they felt like they were going through something, to just be outspoken about it. And if they felt like maybe it was something that they could only entrust to one person, like have one person that you always go to. So I had my best friend in the Marine Corps. Her name was Doris Rubio. She was just amazing, and we went through so many things together. So I think in terms of like mental health, I've always had people to support me. In the Marine Corps, it was Doris and the community I had there in Okinawa, Japan. And then over here in Houston, Texas, Texas in general, I have a very close family. So like family has been like a huge part of me just having stability in mental health. And, sometimes as just people in general, like your mind like goes in circles and you don't know if what you're thinking is just like the best way to think about things. It could drive you crazy. But just having a sounding board to help you when you're going through those like cycles of uncertainty, I think was really pivotal for me to just maintain like just mental health.
Oh, that's such good advice. And that's one of the things I think is great about McCombs is it's a community, it's cooperative. Like everyone's trying to push each other up, work together and help each other. So if anyone's out there like that feels alone or anything, they're not, they can come to the Wellness Collective. Like if you're scared to talk to your peers, like that's fine. Like there's a wellness center, you can talk to a counselor. Like don't hold that stuff in, because I feel like that is when it really just goes downhill from there. For sure.
And I think that's a very good point you're making. One thing that I had no idea about, like prior to meeting Adam, he told me that his university, when he was going to college, had like people that you could talk to on campus. So I didn't know that was a resource for college students, but I'm sure Texas has something similar.
Yeah, I'll get the link and I'll put it in the show notes. So if anyone wants to do that, definitely a good resource to use. And Nanci, thanks so much for coming on, sharing your wellness story. Any final takeaways, final thoughts before we close it out?
Yeah, I think just that it's important to try and keep like a stable agenda in the MBA. I think that's been like really pivotal for me throughout my journey here. Just keeping an agenda, try to keep everything. I guess like an agenda was important to me.
Yeah, you got to stay prepared. Planning, it never hurts. And so just thanks so much for sharing your story from high school, Marine Corps, civilian work, and now you're back at the MBA, really setting the example for health and wellness, and excited for the MRF.
Awesome. Thank you.
See you.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the McCombs Wellness Collective podcast, where we record weekly episodes during the semester to promote healthy habits and learn about personal wellness journeys. Stay well, my friends, and hook 'em horns.